Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Transcendent. Transcendent is the weekly Facebook Live broadcast of San Antonio in black, white, and brown, also known as SABWB. What is SABWB? SABWB is a leadership space where influencers from every worldview, biblical worldview influencers from every race, position, and perspective come together for two main purposes. One is to build trust. A network of trust must be established if anything long-lasting is going to transpire. Build trust and then collaborate both on the value and the implementation of principles that shape the culture. So ultimately, SABWB's desire is to shape the culture of a city. Now, folks, that is an undertaking that takes a lot of work and a lot of prayer and a lot of divine intervention and a lot of intentional cooperation for it to happen. But I believe God's design is for it to happen here in the city of San Antonio. And I'm glad you believe that God has called me to it. Some of you, many of you know, my life has been invested into this city. And almost 40 years of ministry in the city as a youth pastor and senior pastor. But the call to broaden the scope of our function and mission to the city of San Antonio is what has been before us now for about the last couple of years. We actually established this office on Passover 2 years ago. And so this past Passover was 2 years. And we're looking forward to many, many more years as God blesses us to continue to stretch our wings of responsibility, really our hovering wings of faith over the city of San Antonio, as so many have. And we're not making any pretense as though we're covering the city ourselves singularly. That's ridiculous. God has put a bunch of people in this space that are working to see our city right its course. And we have to work not only toward that end, but work with one another. And you help us do that by establishing SABWB with your partnership. So I want to talk to you quickly about partnership before we go on to talk on our subject tonight. Can you think straight? So let me just get the partnership stuff out of the way with you. First of all, I'm happy to report to you that our books are in. Yes, the final edition of In the Footprints of a Prophet, The Footprints of a Prophet. They're in, and the book is beautiful. It has been well received by its readers across our city and across the country. And we do have some copies on hand that you can get for $25 each, or you can go to Xulon.com. That's Xulon.com, Xulon.com, and purchase a copy there. They're our publishers. Xulon Press are our publishers. So you can get it at Xulon. You can also get it from us. We get 100% of the cost of the book go toward ministry. If you purchase it from us, you can do that by a couple of ways tonight. Just go on our website at sabwb.org and click on it. Click on, I don't know if our website, yes, there's a feature out there for the book. Just click on that, put your phone over that QR code, and it'll take you straight to Xulon Press where you can get a copy of the book. Or if you want to purchase by donate $25 to us at PayPal, or you can Cash App me right here on this phone at $SABWB. If you do that tonight, I will see it before I get off the air, and I'll give you a shout out about it, and purchase your copy of the book. And you're going to be challenged as you read, because that, as I said, I was divinely assisted in the writing of it, and I'm thankful to God that we have an opportunity to do that. That helps fuel ministry. It also helps build your own spiritual person, your own spiritual insights. I'm sure will be challenged. You'll be challenged to live for God with everything in you as you see God using and nondescript, very simple man, and with his simple mother, Euphemia. These are characters that you need, that you'll grow to love, and you'll be able to identify the Euphemia Williams in your life, the Obadiah Lawrence in your life, the Raglan Phillips in your life. You'll be, those names will mean something to you as you delve into the footprints of a prophet. How God used Bishop V.T. Williams. Really, we don't give enough recognition, and I don't know that we adequately can until we are before the Lord in His throne, of how God used that man's life to so impact the lives of others on that island nation of Jamaica, and not only Jamaica, but here in the United States, and what that corporate impact did to actually shape how we live our lives in the West. This is no hyperbole. This is no exaggeration. Your life and my life is different because of Bishop V.T. Williams, what God used him to do on the island of Jamaica and around the country. So get your copy. I'm building an online course from it. Pastors, if you want me to come and speak to your people and to further them on toward their purpose and their design in life, being able to recover from setbacks, stay focused when things go sideways. If you believe that I can be of a help to you, then please let me assist you in the maturing of the people that over whom God has given you charge. If you're a business and you want to do some business presentations to your employees at large or to your leadership staff, particularly to your leadership staff, that online course will lift that core group of leaders and get them focused, and you'll see more productivity out of them than you have seen before. And I'm glad to be able to assist you in doing that. Just get in contact with me at cflowers@sabwb.org, cflowers@sabwb.org. Let me know that you want me to come and assist you. I'll be more than glad to do it. If you also, I'm already in the motion of doing many of those things. I'm glad to be able to tell you that we'll continue to do it as God gives us grace to do it locally. My heart is here in San Antonio, but I believe that this is here in San Antonio because God's going to use us in terms of a model to go to other major metropolitan cities. I'm already going to other cities now, but the focus is right here. So if you have a business here, you have a church here in San Antonio, and you believe that God can use me to help you do what you do, then by all means enlist my services. I am at your service. Again, go to cflowers@sabwb.org. You can call me on my business phone at 210-799-3857. Leave me a message or text letting me know that you want to have talks with me about it. I'll be sure to get in contact with you about it. That book, The Footprints of a Prophet, is something released into the earth. God used this mind and these hands to write, but it did not originate with me. You're going to glean from it, and so will your people, and be blessed by it. So I highly encourage you to let me help you do what God has called you to do. The second way you can partner with us is I'm so excited to announce to you that on September the 9th is the day when BGC Coffee here in San Antonio moves into our final motions, or actually our initial motions, not the final, they're initial motions, with our roaster here in town, who will tell us the place and the date and the time he wants us to bring him these BGC coffee beans. They're still green. They'll harvest from the fields of Rwanda. I'm going to go there with you in commercial in just a minute. But on September the 9th, we start to get the date set, or the place and date and time will be set for the delivery of the beans, and it'll take some hours to roast it, and then it'll be bagged, and I'll be presenting a bag of Bajisi coffee right here before you on this broadcast, and you'll have an opportunity to sip organic premium coffee, purchase it, and sip it. While you do that, you're establishing small business here in San Antonio, help establish small business. You're supporting ministry, and you're helping farmers halfway around the world. So Bajisi coffee is coffee with a cause. It's not just premium grade organic coffee. There's a cause that's behind it, and you get to help it just by doing what you already do. Instead of you going to HEB or wherever you go to get yours, get yourself a bag of Bajisi coffee. So that certainly should be in your cabinets before Thanksgiving for sure. We make this motion on the 9th, or when we make this motion on the 9th, and it's in the hand of the roasters a few days after that and ready for sale a few days after that, it'll be mid-September, mid to late September. You'll already have your Bajisi coffee ready by the end of the month, and then on Thanksgiving, you just be sipping on it, remembering what you're doing. You're helping lift farmers halfway around the world as you enjoy organic premium coffee. So speaking of which, I'm going to take you now to the hills of Rwanda, and you'll see that I called them beans in the commercial. Actually, at that stage, they're not beans, they're cherries. You'll see them have a handful of red cherries, and the coffee beds are empty, but harvest season has come. By the way, the harvest season this past season was a challenge because the rains did not come on time, and therefore that threw things back and has affected our harvest. But nonetheless, we're looking to God for great things to happen. It affected a harvest with reference to the amount of harvest that we could receive this year. So this is a rare thing you're getting a hold of. This Bajisi coffee is a rarity. It's organic, it's premium, and it's coffee with a cause because it fuels ministry, it supports small business, and it helps farmers halfway around the world. All right, so let's go to the coffee fields of Rwanda, and I'll be right back right after this. All right, I'm here in Rwanda, and we're up in the coffee farms right now. So I've been telling you about the upcoming Be Easy Coffee organic premium coffee. And these are beans that I have in my hand. These are brand new beans. There's already a harvest already in place. These are just the early parts of the second harvest. And these beds that you see that are now empty will be full of organic premium coffee beans. And you have an opportunity to get a bag of Be Easy coffee for yourself. And we're going to work, of course, as I said before, on the San Antonio blend for SABWB. You'll be able to get your coffee mug and sip premium organic coffee. I told you it was coming, and it's on the way. Okay. So yes, I told you in the commercial that you'll be sipping it out of a coffee mug. This is the mug right here. You see imprinted on it is SAWB, San Antonio Black, White, and Brown, shaping the culture through prayer and action. You'll be able to put your organic coffee in that cup and know that while you're sipping on it, you're doing those things. You're helping lift farmers. We know personally, halfway around the world, out of poverty. You're supporting small business right here in San Antonio, and you're supporting ministry. So thank you so much for doing what you're doing with us here at SABWB and the BGZ Coffee. What you have been doing up until now, up until today, you have been matching a $20,000 challenge gift. I'm happy to tell you we're under 4. We're actually under 3,900 now. I was going to rush and get some checks that we deposited today. We deposited checks and cash today uh, toward that matching challenge gift, and we're standing now at somewhere in the 3,700 plus mark. We need only about 4 of you listening to write $1,000 check, and we close that out, and we continue with building our book sales and building Bijou Coffee as ministry is able to be supported going forward. But it's those monthly supporters. Today, one of our monthly supporters who's so faithful, Mark and Martha, I got they get it drafted from their bank in the form of a check. And on the check, on the check, it says Luke 6:38. Do you know what Luke 6:38 says? It says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over shall men give unto your bosom. For with the same measure that you meet withal, it shall be measured unto you." They put that scripture reference on their check. It's printed on their check as it's, when the machine prints it out, it's printed with Luke 6:38 on it, not the full verse, just the reference. Their name, Luke 6:38, coming from their bank. It's faithful partners like that, like Pat and Cecily, who every month I can go and find a check, a monthly donation to SABWB. I'm so grateful for you, because all of you who do that on a monthly basis, John and Alice, I could continue naming. I'm just not trying to name everybody. I'm just saying to you that we have a host of folks, both in and outside of the city. My friends John and Nicole sent a $2,500 check. They don't even live in San Antonio. Just dear people that Dupree just sent a $500 check. I'm so very grateful. Isaac, right here in our city, another $500 check. These folks, you guys, I can't tell you enough about what you're doing. It encourages our hearts to know that we're in the flow of what God wants us to do, and that you are helping us do that. And we're so very, very grateful for it. The day will come when my faith has developed to the place I won't need to say anything to you. God will speak to your hearts, and you will respond to him in obedience accordingly. Right now, my faith is at a place where I believe if I ask and it shall be given, seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall be opened unto you. I'm operating at that level of faith at the moment. So the ask is appropriate. And because the scripture says, if I ask, it shall be given. If I seek, I'll find. And if I knock, the door shall be open. And ask doesn't mean to ask one time. It's written in the present imperative, which means to ask and keep on asking, knock and keep on knocking. Yes, there is a persistence that is required for the will of God to be fulfilled at that level of faith, at the level of faith at which I'm operating currently. And I'm so thankful to God. I'm actively living this life out, as you also are. The just shall live by faith. So thank you for your partnership in the purchase of our book. If you've got yours and you over it, I know many of you are, because you're telling me. I'm so excited about because I was moved when I wrote it, and you are being moved as you read it, and it's going to bless people's lives. So if I can help you, business owner, if I can help you, church pastor, ministry leader, help hone and focus and bless your people to get more of the kingdom out of them, I'm certainly willing to help you do that. Just contact me at cflowers@sabwb.org. Let me know that you want me to help you. I'll be glad to do it. I'll leave some signed books there with your people as well, that they can have it long after the online course. It'll be an online course, but I can also do it on location. So it's an online or on location course that is associated with the book, The Footprints of a Prophet. And of course, your coffee will help fuel us as we continue to move forward. All right, I want to pause here and invite you in our last commercial of our time together today to meet us in prayer in the I Pray experience. Now, Sister Carrizales is going to come on, Kathy Carrizales is going to come and make an appeal to you to join us. The appeal is for you to join us in these offices. The I Pray experience is no longer held in these offices. The I Pray experience is held in a Zoom experience on a Thursday night. And Sylvia, if you're listening, I got your request for that link, and it has taken me some time to get it to you, but call me again, please. Text me again. I have the link ready to send to you. And for the rest of you who want to join us Thursday night in prayer, Thursday night from 7 till 8 o'clock, please let me know the same. 210-799, 210-799-3857, and let me know that you want to be a part of that. And we certainly will send you the link. If I know who you are, of course, you're going to be vetted. You know, we don't let any and everybody jump into a prayer meeting. But if I know who you are, and if I know that you're part of a prayer network and can be trusted to pray, we're not getting on there to gossip or talk. We're getting on there to pray. And so let me know at 210-799-3857 that you want to be a part of that prayer meeting. Just text me and tell me. I'll get it on this phone right here. And I'll be sure to get that link to you. Sylvia, I apologize. It's taken me this long to get it to you, but I had to go through some stuff to get it. But I'm ready. So text me back, Sylvia, your number. Let me know. Maribel, thanks for watching tonight. So that I can get the information to you, we can roll on. All right, so tonight, Kathy is going to invite you to pray, and while she's praying, text that number, 210-799-3857, and let me know that you want to be a part of the I Pray experience on Thursdays at 7. I'll send you the link. I'll vet you and send you the link, and then you can join us in prayer on that prayer call, 7 p.m. on Thursday night, 7 p.m. on Thursday night. You know, as I think about it, we may need to change that time and date, because I know that Pastor Anthony Walker comes on at the same time, 7 p.m. on Thursday, for Why the Word. It's an online Facebook Live Bible study, and I hate missing them myself. So we're probably going to end up changing that date and time. I'm sure we are, to meet, to pray, because that time, Why the Word, is an incredible blessing from a rich anointing on Pastor Anthony Walker's life, and I don't want you to miss it, and I certainly don't want to be in competition with it. So just call me, 210-799-3857. Leave me a message or text me at that number and let me know that you want the link to when we meet and pray, so that you can be a part of the I Pray experience. All right, Catherine Carrizales, to give you a personal invitation, and I'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Kathy Carrizales, and I'm here to invite you to the I Pray experience here in person at 8023 Vantage Drive, Suite 313, or watch us on Facebook Live at SABWBTX. We are excited to pray for the needs of the city or our government, and we hope that you can join us, like I said, online or in person. It is the Lord's desire that we would spend time with Him and get His job done on earth. God bless you, and I hope to see you.
So yes, by all means, join us for the I Pray experience. That number, again, thank you, Bill, for asking, is 210-799-3857. Thank you, Lord. Here's already someone online. Uh, Thank you, Mary Bell. Uh, I got it on my phone. I'll make sure that you get that link to join us for prayer. In fact, I just sent the link to you right now. Uh, Isaac, thanks for watching tonight as well. All right, so here we are. We've got the housekeeping stuff out of the way. Let's jump into this. Can you think straight? Can you think straight? In this season, our thinking that translates into our action, and a specific action in an election year is the act of voting, chooses leadership that will govern the nation or govern cities or govern states. The citizenship in America, by design from the forefathers of this nation, the citizens are invested with the power through their vote to choose who they want to govern them. Now, much has come to corrupt that process. Ballot harvesting, voting for people who are dead and have been dead are still voting. Illegal immigrants have just came over the border to the tune of millions. Data have been gathered on them so that fake social security numbers can be given to them and they can be a voting body, and they'll never know that they voted. There's much that is corrupt. Much that is corrupt. And I'm thankful to be able to tell you that there are many who know that level of corruption and are willing to invest their skill and their time into the process of cleaning that up. Here, for example, in the state of Texas alone, the governor's office, his cabinet, has removed 1 million names from off of Texas's voting rolls. 1 million names. Somebody will say, how dare the governor, go through this process to oppress the vote? Can you think straight? Can you think straight? The list of over 1 million people that were removed from the voting rolls in Texas were people who were either dead or non-citizens. There were people who had already expired, had already died, the names that remained on the voting roll, or they were non-citizens that got on that voting roll. To provide an opportunity for the citizens of Texas to have the confidence that their vote is not going to be negated by someone who is dead, whose vote is being manipulated by another system, or someone who is a non-citizen of the country being allowed to participate in the voting process. 1 million is a lot of people. That took a lot of work. But something has to be done if our voice is going to be our true voice, if it's going to be truly the voice of the people. It's the people that have been invested with the voice to choose who our leaders are. Very critical right now, because leadership determines what goes forth in the nation. Leadership determines what does not go forth in the nation. And you and I need to be able to think straight enough to make such very weighty decisions. So I want to ask you to turn with me to 1 Kings chapter 21. This is where we're going tonight after this. 1 Kings chapter 21. It's a very familiar passage to most of you. Um, let me just start by reading a portion, a rather lengthy portion of it. There's three characters that are introduced in this chapter, the portion that I'm going to be talking with you about. Actually, there's about half a dozen characters that's going to be introduced. So let me get busy with the narrative. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard which was in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. So two names are thrust into our attention in verse 1. Naboth, he's from Jezreel, therefore a Jezreelite. He has a vineyard, and his vineyard is hard by the place, or very close to the place of Ahab, king of Samaria. And Ahab, verse 2, and Ahab spake unto Naboth, saying, Give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house. And I will give thee for it a better vineyard than it. Or if it seem good to thee, I will give thee the worth of it in money. And Naboth said to Ahab, The Lord forbid it me, that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto thee. And Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he had said, I will not give thee the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid down on his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. This is the king who did this, not Naboth. The king lay down on his bed, he turned away his face, and he wouldn't eat. This King Ahab. So news of this floats around to his wife, Jezebel. Let's pick the narrative up in verse number 5. But Jezebel his wife came to him and said unto him, Why is thy spirit so sad that thou eatest no bread? And he said unto her, Because I have spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite, and said unto him, Give me thy vineyard for money, or else, if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give thee my vineyard. So another character is introduced. We have Naboth, we have Ahab, and in verse 5, we have Ahab's wife, Jezebel. Yes, this is the infamous Jezebel. She's introduced, and she is found asking her husband why is he in this condition, and he tells her. He kind of pouts through his answer. And verse 7, and Jezebel his wife said unto him, Dost thou not govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise, eat bread, and let thine heart be merry. I'll give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. So she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal. This would be Jezebel using what would be equivalent in these days to her Department of Justice. This is when the word of the king is law. Do you understand? The word of the king is law. So she, in verse 8, she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed it. It had the seal on it. It had the seal of the governmental head. It had the seal of the legal head. She was using her power, the power of her husband's office. And you sent the letters unto the elders and to the nobles that were in his city dwelling with Naboth. So we have two more characters, or we could say another crowd, that is introduced into this narrative. So far, it's Ahab, it's Naboth, it's Ahab, It's Jezebel. And Jezebel now begins to use the Department of Justice. She begins to use her legal capacities as queen. She writes something in her husband's name, seals it with him. So this is really a deceitful practice that's going on. Today we would call this lawfare. What we would call it today. We would call lawfare is like warfare. Instead of using guns and armament and the like to get what you want, you use the law to get what you want. You see, we think it's new. It's not new. Jezebel operated in lawfare against Nabal because he had something that she wanted. And remember, she said to her husband, "Aren't you the king?" The implication there is, if you're in charge, you get what you want. If you're the one in charge, you get what you want. You don't ask anybody for anything. You're the king. You go take what you want. In fact, if you want Naboth's vineyard, don't worry about it. Just go eat, drink, make yourself merry. I'll get it for you. So she employs lawfare, and she sends this lawfare to the nobles, to the elders and the nobles. The elders and nobles. Now, nobility was largely noble because they had certain economic standing, or they had a certain longevity of a certain type of reputation among the culture. And elders were those who were leaders. They were leaders in their culture. So she sends these out to influential persons. She uses lawfare to engage the influential people at Naboth's level, in his dwelling, in his city. This sort of reminds me of several years ago, right here in this city, another organization, much like Jezebel, and it really is a Jezebel spirit that motivates the Human Rights Commission. The Human Rights Commission is a think tank in Washington, D.C., and they wrote out something called sexual orientation and gender identity laws, known by the acronym SOGI, sexual orientation, gender identity. And they took these SOGI laws that they had written, and they sent them to nobles and elders in cities around the country. Here's why they did. They knew that they could not get their request through the legal process of a representative writing a bill and going through the process of getting that bill evaluated either in the House or the Senate, and then passed as written as a law and sent to the president's desk for signature. They didn't have time for that process, so they circumvented the process. This is what a Jezebel spirit does. It seeks to circumvent the right way in order to get its own means, or get its own ends met. It doesn't matter what means it uses to do it. So they sent out these sexual orientation, gender identity stuff to these different cities, different metropolitan areas around the country, and they worked. Let me tell you how strategic this Jezebel spirit is. And I want to get you ready tonight, because I'm going to ask you to do something with your phones tonight that will let you see just how deeply entrenched this Jezebel spirit is. We're going to close tonight's broadcast with, we're going to include, I should say, tonight's broadcast, we're going to include in it an example of use with this phone that I saw a friend of mine do earlier today, and I'll tell you something about that when we get there. But she's now using lawfare, right? She takes Ahab's seal, she writes the stuff, and she puts the seal on it, and she sends that to the elders and nobles that were in the city. And she wrote in the letter saying, "Proclaim a fast and set Naboth on high among the people, and set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him, to bear witness against him, saying, Thou didst blaspheme God and the king, and then carry him out and stone him that he die. So Jezebel used lawfare. Hello, Cheryl. Jezebel used lawfare to engage the leadership influencers at the level where Naboth operated. And then she said two men. Now, why two? Well, Deuteronomy, the 17th chapter, I think it's verse 7. Keep your hand there in 1 Kings 21 and go over to Deuteronomy with me to the 17th chapter. Look in verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse number 6. You know, Deuteronomy is the record of three sermons preached in the last week of the life of Moses. And this chapter 17 is in his last sermon it's the second sermon he's preaching, second of the three. And he's covering some things with them. The Deuteronomy means, in essence, it means to another law. It's not another law like another law was given. This is a review of the laws that they had already been given. And in the 17th chapter of Deuteronomy, verse number 6, this is still used in our jurisprudence today, here in 2024. It says in verse 6, Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 6, at the mouth of two witnesses or three witnesses shall he that is worthy of death be put to death. But at the mouth of one witness he shall not be put to death. The hands of the witnesses shall be first put upon him to put him to death, and afterward the hands of all the people. So thou shalt put the evil away from among you. So he establishes that in the mouth of two witnesses or three witnesses, let every word be established. Jezebel engages this lawfare against Naboth, and she sends her letter of lies away to the elders and the nobles, and they collude with her. Can you think straight? Can you think straight? The reason I'm going over this is because I want you to think straight enough to see it. Let me just insert this as an aside that's not really an aside. There's a rage going on now. Hello, Don. As to whether or not in the WNBA, that whether or not there should be a contest of who the rookie of the year is between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Can you think straight? Because if you look at the data of their performance, somebody said, well, you can't take away from the fact that Angel Reese has had a number of double-doubles in points and rebounds in her last string of games that she's been involved in. I want you to consider how many of those rebounds has come from her missed shots. So if I throw a shot up and I miss it and I get the rebound and I shoot again and miss it and get the rebound and I shoot again and miss it and get the rebound and I shoot it, and I'm just not an exaggeration, shoot it again and miss it and get the rebound. I've got 4 rebounds, but they came from my own misses. So someone who's performing at the level Angel Reese is performing, to be compared for Rookie of the Year against someone like Caitlin Clark, who's selling out tickets and arenas and sales are going through the roof, and she is in her first year has matched the three-point field goal, 3-point play, 3-point shots in her first year, setting all kinds of records. And yet some kind of argument, there's an argument really between who is really the Rookie of the Year performer here. Can you think straight? It's sort of like that across the board. I'm just using that as because it's a popular and relevant example as to our ability as the American public to think straight. Just let me just go ahead and go on and assert this. The reason that there is such an argument over whether or not it's Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark is not due to their performance, because the numbers close that argument down. The issue is that the WNBA is largely a woman's sport. I think it's only like 20% of the players in the WNBA are white. 80% of them are black, and there are some tremendous black players in the WNBA. They've not garnered the attention. The thing is not with them that is making ticket sales go up and all of that. And so there is some animosity and hatred because this black female dominated sport is now seemingly riding on the back and the shoulders of a skinny little white girl. So there's fights going on over it because of her color. It has nothing to do with the performance of the players, because that argument is shut down. But we can't think straight because the color thing is involved, and because there's some other stuff involved too. I won't get into that. But there's some things that cloud our thinking as a people, and this is what happened here in this narrative. Some things entered in that clouded the thinking of people, and the Jezebel spirit knew that if I can get these two men, I'll go back to this passage in verse 10. Two men, sons of Belial, before him to bear witness against him. Belial were not people who served God. They were not people of Christian character. They were not people of integrity. They weren't people who loved the truth. These are and deceit and lies. Set them before him. Give him platform. Give Naboth platform. Set him up, and let these two people come before him, and then let them falsely accuse him. Let them bear witness, because Deuteronomy 17:6 says one person can't do this. It has to be both in the mouth of two witnesses or three witnesses. So they're taking a standing rule and a rule of life given to them by God. They're taking a standard rule of life given to them by God and using it and twisting it to their own advantage and to their own end. Now, when that happens, those who are judging the case can't ignore the fact that two witnesses have come forward and said this. They must hold to what those witnesses have to say. I got to rush. So here's what happens. Two men, sons of Belial, against him, saying, "Thou didst blaspheme God and the king," and then carry him out and stone him that he may die. And the men of the city, even the elders and the nobles who were the inhabitants in his city, did as Jezebel had sent unto them, and as it is written in the letters which she sent unto them. It takes multi-level cooperation. It takes a broad band of cooperation to manipulate the opinion of the public, and in this case, it cost Naboth his life. They proclaimed a fast. They set Naboth on high. I'm reading verse 12 among the people. And there came in two men, children of Belial, and sat before him. And the men of Belial witnessed against him, even against Naboth, in the presence of the people. So they put him on public trial. This is what we call today the court of popular opinion. Lies about Naboth was fed into the court of public opinion. Lies about Naboth is fed into the court of public opinion. Now, the media is complicit to do that very thing today. They will put their targets on a person, and they will feed lies about that person in such a convincing way that if you actually don't know the difference, if you don't know the truth, you will believe these witnesses just as these people did. They believed these two witnesses. Look what happened here. In the presence of people saying, Naboth has blasphemed God and the king. Then they carried him forth out of the city and stoned him with stones that he died. And they sent to Jezebel saying, Naboth is stoned and is dead. And King Jezebel heard that Naboth was stoned and was dead, that Jezebel said to Ahab, arise, take possession. Rise and take possession of the vineyard of Naboth, the Jezreelite, which he refused to give thee for money, for Naboth is not alive, but dead. Listen to me, people. Listen to me real good. Again, the same. Can you think straight? Can you think better than the folks who had these two witnesses, the sons of Belial, witnessed Naboth, who just refused to give up his family's inheritance? Naboth was saying, this is what we have inherited. We're not giving it up. But the lies were spewed so consistently and so strongly across the social media platforms, across the court of public opinion in this case, such that Naboth lost his life behind lies. So let me do this experiment with you, and then we'll be done for the night. Earlier today, a friend posted on her My Story. She held up a phone and asked the phone, "Hey Siri, should I vote for Kamala Harris?"
Okay, I found this on the web for should I vote for Kamala Harris? Check it out.
Okay, it gives me, thank you. Thank you, Siri. Bye-bye.
Until we talk again.
So it gave me a list of reasons I should vote, or reasons I should not vote for her, for Kamala Harris, right here on Siri. Let me ask you the second question. Hey Siri, should I vote for Donald Trump?
Only you can decide who to vote for. My advice is to stay informed. Then vote for who you think will be best.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Now, it didn't give me a list of data. It just told me stay informed and vote for who's best. But when I ask it about Kamala, I'll ask it again. I'll show it to you. Hey Siri, should I vote for Kamala Harris?
Okay, I found this on the web for should I vote for Kamala Harris? Check it out.
So it gives me a list of reasons why I should or should not vote for her. And it tells me if I'm a Republican, I shouldn't. Here it is right here. I'm not kidding. The friend who sent this to me today said that a friend had sent a similar thing to her from Alexa. So now Siri is the one that's okay, Siri. I was just calling your name. I don't need you. Bye-bye. That governs Apple products. Alexa's the one who governs Android products. Go to these two devices. Ask your vocal aid, whether you have an Apple product or an Android product. Ask it. Watch what it tells you. It'll give you a litany of information on one if you ask a question about Kamala, and the other one will tell you Stay informed, vote for whom you think is best. The level of deception and the level of control that, now, it didn't say anything. Interestingly enough, I voted Republican not because I am a Republican, and I know some of you don't believe that, but it's okay. Because I believe the Republican Party has problems. Has not The Republican Party hasn't ran after the black vote. In fact, there's a black author, Dr. Tim Wesley, who, by the way, is running for mayor of San Antonio, who writes a book called The Republican Party and Its Journey Blackwards, not backwards, blackwards. I highly encourage you reading the book. It exposes some problems deeply embedded in the Republican Party. And of course, the problem with the Democratic Party is glaring. It doesn't believe in traditional family. It embraces movements like the Black Lives Matter movement, whose stated objective is to destroy the nuclear family. It believes in the destruction of the innocent lives of children. It pushes pornography by way of indoctrination through schools, calling it education. I mean, the things that, and the policies that they adopt to say that they're doing poor people a favor have never worked in Baltimore, Philadelphia, Chicago, Los Angeles, any major city where they have been employed, any minor city where they have been employed. They have no wins, but they can spit the rhetoric. They can tell you how much they care about you and all that. Can you think straight? Can you think for yourself? Because if you don't, you could end up like Naboth. Or you could, worse yet, you could end up like the people who believe the witness, the two witnesses, the sons of Belial. The two witnesses, legacy media and social media. You can believe those two witnesses and get your head twisted. And you'll be just like that crowd that condemned Naboth to death because of ideas that you believed. But I think better of you, particularly those of you who are in the body of Christ. On the 19th of October, I'll close with this announcement. On the 19th of October, a group of leaders from around the country, of which I'm a part, the African American Council, we're going to have, the 19th is a Saturday, we're going to have a lengthy Zoom for people across the country. Dr. Patricia Bailey, Dr. Dennis Peacock, myself, the three of us are going to have 3 20-minute sessions on that call. There'll be tons of people on that Zoom call. The website is being built to host thousands of people on that day. We're going to settle in on this issue and help us think straight so that we don't go off half-cocked about anything. Some of us, I'll say this in parting, we can tend to be too black for our own good. It's just like this whole Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese thing. In any pull that Angel Reese has toward the rookie, and any support she has in that direction is not based on the data. There are other extenuating circumstances which are irrelevant to the issue, but very relevant in the minds of the people. All right. Hopefully I have made you sufficiently alarmed and alert enough to do your own thinking, to do your own research. Come away from this night. We don't have time to play around, folks. We just don't have time anymore. Platitudes and proprieties are good as far as they last, but they can get in the way of truth being declared and you embracing it. Do the little call tonight, just as I did. Go on your own phone. Ask them the question as I asked them. Should I vote for Kamala Harris? Look what it tells you. And I was interested to see that it says on my phone, as a Republican, why I shouldn't. I didn't ask him for Republican data. How does she know that I am a Republican? But when it comes to uh, how does she know that I have voted Republican? Uh, when did she find that out? And how? Go to your deal. Go to your deal. You got an Android, Alexa? Just ask. It is evident of how sophisticated and how widespread the effort is to manage the public, just like the public was managed in this narrative in 1 Kings chapter 21. Using a standing rule of law, the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, they turned that law against Naboth and had him killed as a result of it. These are not easy days. These are very difficult and sophisticated days we're living in. You're either going to be swallowed up by them or you're going to think straight before it's too late. All right, love you big. Kind of heavy tonight, but it's good. Make you think. Support us. Get a copy of our book, The Footprints of a Prophet. Let me know that if you want to be a part of our prayer meeting, 210-799-3857. Let me know that. I'll send you the link. I just did with Mary Bell. If there are any of the rest of you who want that link, just let me know that, and I'll get it to you so that we can begin the prayer time together. 210-799 3857. 210-799-3857. And if you text me, let me know who you are, because I'll vet you and I'll send it to you just as I just did to Mary Bell. Let me know that you want that link. We'll meet for times of prayer, especially coming in now. Those of you who are part of the Faith Outreach Center family where Pastor Anthony Walker leads us, I'm so grateful for his leadership. I love the Spirit of the Lord. I love Pastor Anthony, and I love his desire to be led by the Spirit. He's leading us into Wednesday's time of fasting and prayer. My time begins Tuesday evening after supper, and I go until Wednesday after the Bible study. Or tomorrow night is actually a Acts 13:1 type service where we just wait in the presence of the Lord and minister unto him. And the Bible says, and the Holy Ghost said. We're expecting the Holy Spirit to speak to our hearts and guide us in the way that he would have us to go. So if you want to be a part of that, here is somebody else. And yes, Isaac, I will send it to you. If you want that link, just let me know and I'll send it to you. Which is what I'm doing with Isaac right now. All right, guys, thanks for jumping on with me tonight. I look forward to helping us think straight. All right, love you big. We will see you. Don't fail to do the little thing with your phone. Whether you have one helper or the other one, whether you have Alexa or Siri. Siri, I have to say it low because she'll come on, but she hears a name call. Conduct your own little experiment and ask other people to do the same. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. We're in a matrix And the forces that be are trying to lead you in a certain direction. And they'll use your color, they'll use your trauma, they will use negative history, all of that has already been formulated around you. But I think better things of you. Love you big. Have a great night. Bye-bye now.